The alarm started at exactly 3 in the morning. Captain Velnara woke up fast and reached for her communication device. She had been in space for 40 years and bad news always came at night. "Captain, we found something," said the night officer. "You need to see this." Velnara walked to the bridge of the tranquil horizon. Her ship was big and safe, designed for long trips through empty space. Nothing ever surprised them out here. That was the whole point. The Confederation liked safe missions. "What did you find?" she asked. The officer pointed at the main screen. "A ship, unknown design. It's just floating out there." Velnara looked at the image. The ship was small and looked broken. Strange marks covered its hull like something had hit it many times. The metal looked old and rough, not smooth like modern ships. "Run a scan," she ordered. Science Officer Krimesh arrived a few minutes later. He was a Krell, tall and thin with blue skin. His people came from a peaceful water world where nothing dangerous ever happened. He moved to his station and started working. "The results are strange," Krimesh said after a while. "The ship is made of basic metals. Steel and titanium mostly. Very simple materials. How old is it?" Velnara asked. "That's the strange part. It's not old. Maybe 20 years, no more. But the design is primitive. Like something from 1,000 years ago." Security Chief Dorna walked onto the bridge. She was a Greyvax, short and very strong. Her people came from a heavy world where the gravity was twice as strong as normal. Dorna could lift things that would break most people's backs. "What's going on?" Dorna asked. "Unknown ship," Velnara said. "Check if there are any weapons." Dorna looked at her screen. "No energy weapons. I see some chemical rockets, maybe missiles, but they look old. Not a real threat." "Keep scanning," Velnara said. "I want to know everything about that ship." The team worked for an hour. "Krimesh kept finding strange things, Captain," he said quietly. "I think I know where the ship came from." "Where?" Krimesh looked worried. "According to the computer, the ship came from a Class 3 Deathworld." Everyone stopped working. The bridge went silent. Class 3 Deathworlds were the worst planets in the galaxy. They had high gravity, dangerous weather, and air that could kill most species. The Confederation had only found 3 of them in all of history. No one from those worlds had ever built a spaceship before. It was supposed to be impossible. "Are you sure?" Velnara asked. "Yes. The computer analyzed the ship's path. It came from a system 12 light years from here. The main planet matches all the signs of a Class 3 world." Dorna walked closer. "Show me the planet data." Krimesh put the information on the main screen. The numbers were frightening. The planet had gravity almost twice as strong as normal. The air was full of oxygen, which was like poison for most species. The temperature changed between freezing cold and burning hot. Huge storms covered the surface. Active volcanoes shot fire into the sky. "Nothing could live there," Velnara whispered. "But something does," Krimesh said. "And they built this ship." "Check if anyone is alive inside," Velnara ordered. Krimesh ran more scans. "Life support is working, but only in part of the ship. The power is very low. I can't tell if anyone is alive." "What about the air inside?" Dorna asked. "Toxic, 20% oxygen. That would kill any of us in minutes," Velnara thought carefully. Confederation law said they had to help any ship in trouble. But Class 3 species were dangerous. The 2 times the Confederation had met them before, it ended in war. Both times many people died. "We should call for help," Krimesh said. "Let the military handle this." "That will take weeks," Dorna said. "If someone is alive in there, they might die before help arrives." Velnara looked at the broken ship on her screen. She had never broken the rules before. She always followed orders. But right now someone might be dying out there. "Dorna, get a boarding team ready," she said. "We're going to look inside." "Captain, are you sure?" Krimesh asked. "No," Velnara said. "But we're doing it anyway." The team prepared for 2 hours. They put on special suits that could protect them from dangerous air and radiation. Dorna picked 3 strong security officers to come with them. Krimesh brought scientific equipment to study whatever they found. They took a small shuttle to the broken ship. As they got closer, Velnara saw how damaged it really was. Large dents covered the hull. Some areas looked burned. One of the engines was completely destroyed. "This ship should not be flying," Dorna said. "Look at that damage. It should have broken apart." "Maybe they built it stronger than we think," Krimesh suggested. They found an airlock and connected their shuttle. Dorna tried to open it, but nothing happened. "The power is dead here," she said. "We need to open it manually." Two security officers used tools to force the airlock open. It took 20 minutes of hard work. When they finally opened it, hot air rushed out. The temperature inside was much higher than normal. They entered carefully. The inside of the ship was dark. Only a few emergency lights were working. Everything looked rough and simple. No smooth walls or clean floors. This was a ship built for function, not comfort. The gravity is high, Velnara said. Her suit showed the numbers. 1.5 times normal gravity. Walking felt like carrying a heavy backpack. How do they live like this? Krimesh asked. Dorna was the only one who seemed comfortable. Her home world had gravity even higher than this. Follow me, she said. I'll take the lead. They walked through dark corridors. Strange symbols covered the walls. They looked like writing, but not like any language in the Confederation database. Then Krimesh stopped. I'm getting life signs. This way. They turned a corner and found a door. It was slightly open. Light came from inside. Dorna pushed it wider, and they saw a room with medical equipment. And they saw the crew. 3 creatures lay on beds. They looked almost like Velnara's people, but bigger and stronger. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head. But their muscles were thick and their bones looked heavy. These were beings built to survive. One of them opened its eyes and looked at them. Then it tried to sit up. Wait, don't move, Velnara said, even though she knew it couldn't understand her. But the creature did move. It sat up slowly but with strength. Krimesh's scanner showed the creature had broken bones and deep cuts all over its body. Those injuries should have made it impossible to move. But here it was, sitting up and looking at them with intelligent eyes. The creature made sounds. It was trying to talk. Velnara couldn't understand the words, but she understood the meaning. It was asking who they were. We're here to help, she said, pointing at her chest and then at the creature. The creature seemed to understand. It nodded and pointed at itself. Then it said something that sounded like a name. Hyunwoo. Hyunwoo, Velnara repeated. She pointed at herself. Velnara, Hyunwoo nodded again. Then it tried to stand up. Dorna moved forward to help, but Hyunwoo waved her away. It stood on its own, despite the injuries, despite the heavy gravity. Velnara watched in amazement. This creature should be dead. Instead, it was standing and trying to communicate. What kind of world would create beings this strong? And more importantly, what would happen when the Confederation found out about them? Hyunwoo moved slowly across the medical room. Each step looked painful, but he kept walking. Velnara watched him with growing worry. Those injuries should have killed anyone she knew. But this creature acted like they were just small problems. The other 2 creatures woke up. One was smaller than Hyunwoo, with long dark hair. The other looked younger, barely more than a child by Confederation standards. But both had the same thick muscles and heavy bones. Hyunwoo pointed at them and said their names. Daeun Taeyang. Daeun sat up quickly. She looked around the room, saw the strangers, and tensed. But Hyunwoo spoke to her in their language, and she relaxed a little. She said something back, and Hyunwoo nodded. Taeyang moved slower. Krimesh's scanner showed he was the most injured of the 3. The radiation levels in his body were extremely high. Those levels would kill a Krell in seconds, but Taeyang just looked tired, not dying. We need to find a way to communicate, Velnara said to her team. Krimesh pulled out a translation device. It was designed to learn new languages by listening to patterns, but it needed time. They need to talk more. I'll record everything they say. Taeyang seemed to understand what they were trying to do. He moved to a wall panel and pressed some buttons. A screen turned on showing numbers and symbols. He pointed at the numbers and then at his fingers. Smart, Krimesh said. He's using math. Numbers are the same everywhere. For the next hour, Taeyang and Krimesh worked together. They used numbers to build a basic way to share ideas. 1 + 1 = 2. Simple physics. Distance, speed, time. Slowly, they started to understand each other. Meanwhile, Daeun took Dorna and the security team to see the ship's engine room. The damage was worse than they thought. One entire engine was gone. The other was barely working. Wires hung from the ceiling. Pieces of metal lay everywhere. Daeun showed them how she had fixed things. She had used spare parts, tape, and wire to keep the systems running. Some of her solutions made no sense to Dorna. They shouldn't work, but somehow they did. She's been working in these conditions for months, one security officer said. How is that possible? Dorna checked the temperature. It was hot enough to burn unprotected skin. The air was toxic. The radiation was dangerous. Yet Daun had worked here, fixing things, keeping her crew alive. Daun picked up a heavy piece of equipment. It weighed at least 50 kilograms. She lifted it easily and carried it to a workbench. Dorna was strong, one of the strongest in the Confederation. But even she would have struggled with that weight in this gravity. Back in the medical room, Taiyang drew pictures on the screen. He showed them a planet. Then he drew storms, volcanoes, and huge waves. He pointed at himself and the others, then at the planet. That's their homeworld, Krimesh said. He's showing us what it's like. Taiyang drew more pictures. Cities with millions of beings, ships in space, technology and science. He was telling them his people were civilized, not savage. How many of them are there? Velnara asked. Taiyang typed numbers on the screen. 8 billion. Velnara felt cold. 8 billion creatures this strong, this tough, all living on one planet. If they ever decided to expand into space, nothing could stop them. Captain, Krimesh said quietly, we need to report this to High Command. I know, she said. Hyunwoo seemed to sense something was wrong. He spoke to Taeyang in their language. Taeyang responded and they had a short conversation. Then Hyunwoo looked at Velnara and made a gesture. He held out his hands, showing they were empty. A sign of peace. Velnara made the same gesture back. For now, peace was all they could offer each other. They spent the rest of the day learning about each other. The translation device was starting to work. Simple words came through clearly. Yes, no help, friend, danger. Velnara learned that these creatures called themselves humans. Their planet was called Earth. They had built their first spaceship only a few decades ago. This was their first trip to another star system. They achieved spaceflight that fast? Krimesh was amazed. It took my people 500 years to reach that point. The humans showed them pictures of Earth. It looked beautiful and terrible at the same time. Blue oceans and green forests, but also giant storms and earthquakes. A world that was always trying to kill you, but also gave you life. Hyunwoo explained what happened to their ship through the translation device. They were exploring when they flew too close to a star. The radiation damaged their engines. 2 crew members died in the accident. They had been drifting for 3 months, hoping someone would find them. You lost crew members? Velnara asked. I'm sorry, Hyunwoo nodded. He showed her a picture. 5 humans stood together, smiling. Now only 3 remained. His face showed sadness, but also strength. He had accepted the loss and moved forward. That was what his world taught him to do. Dayun showed Krimesh more of her repair work. She had created a memorial for the dead crew members in a quiet corner of the ship. She had used metal scraps to make 2 simple sculptures. They were rough but beautiful in their own way. Krimesh felt something change inside him. He had been scared of these humans. They were so strong, so tough, but now he saw they also felt pain. They mourned their dead. They created art. They were not monsters. They were people. That evening, Velnara called a meeting with her team in the shuttle. They needed to decide what to do next. We have to bring them to a Confederation station, Krimesh said. They need real medical care. And we need to report this to High Command, Dorna added. They need to know about Earth. What do you think High Command will do? Velnara asked. No one answered. They all knew what happened the last time the Confederation met a Class 3 species. War, fear, death. These humans are different, Krimesh said. They haven't attacked us. They've been friendly. They're also weak and injured, Dorna pointed out. Maybe they're only friendly because they need our help. I don't think so, Krimesh said. I've watched them. They're genuinely kind. Dayun showed me her art. Taeyang taught me their mathematics. These are not violent creatures. Maybe not, Velnara said. But there are 8 billion more of them on Earth. We can't know what they're all like. She sent a message to High Command explaining the situation. Then they waited for a response. The answer came 6 hours later. Velnara read it twice, hoping she misunderstood. But the words were clear. Emergency Protocol 7 was now in effect. The humans were classified as a potential threat to Confederation security. They were not to be brought to any populated system. A special containment ship was being sent to collect them. Earth's location would be kept secret. Velnara felt sick. She had saved these humans. Now her government wanted to lock them away. What does the message say? Krimesh asked. She told them. They all went silent. We can't do that, Krimesh said. It's wrong. It's an order, Velnara said. We don't have a choice. There's always a choice, Dorna said quietly. Velnara looked at her security chief. What are you saying? I'm saying maybe High Command is wrong. Maybe these humans deserve a chance. Before Velnara could respond, an alarm went off. The computer showed multiple objects approaching fast. What is that? Velnara demanded. Krimesh checked his scanner. His face went pale. Asteroids. Dozens of them. They're coming right at us. How long until impact? 10 minutes. Maybe less. Velnara ran back to the human ship. Hyunwoo saw her face and knew something was wrong. She pointed at the asteroids on a screen. He understood immediately. Hyunwoo spoke quickly to Daeun and Tae-yang. All three humans moved with sudden energy. Despite their injuries, despite 3 months of suffering, they were ready to act. Hyunwoo looked at Velnara and spoke through the translation device. The words came out slowly but clear. We help you. We help each other. Live together. Velnara made a decision that would change everything. She nodded. Yes, help us. The first asteroid hit the Tranquil Horizon's shields. The entire ship shook. Alarms screamed throughout every corridor. Velnara ran to the bridge with the 3 humans following close behind. Status report, she shouted over the noise. Shields at 60%. The bridge officer called out. More asteroids incoming. We can't dodge them all. Another impact. Then another. The shields flickered and died. Without protection, the next asteroid tore a hole in the ship's side. Air rushed out. Emergency doors slammed shut, but 3 sections were now open to space. We have hull breaches, Krimesh reported. Life support is failing in sections 4, 5, and 6. How many crew in those sections? Velnara asked. 15. They're trapped. Hyunwoo was looking at a damage control screen. Even though he couldn't read the words, he understood the pictures. He pointed at the breached sections and then at himself. He was offering to help. You can't, Velnara said. Those areas are exposed to vacuum. You'll die, Hyunwoo spoke to Daeun. She nodded and ran back toward their ship. 2 minutes later, she returned with 3 environment suits. They were human-sized and looked very basic compared to Confederation equipment. Daeun spoke through the translation device. These work. We fix your ship. Captain, we don't have time to argue, Dorna said. Let them try. Velnara made the hardest decision of her life. Go. Save my crew. The 3 humans put on their suits and moved toward the damaged sections. Dorna went with them, along with 2 security officers. They reached the sealed door to Section 4. Beyond it was hard vacuum and deadly cold. Daeun opened a panel and started working on the door controls. She bypassed the safety systems in seconds. The door opened and air rushed out. The humans walked through like it was nothing. Inside the breach section, 5 crew members huddled together. Their suits were running out of air. They looked terrified. Then they saw the humans and didn't know whether to feel relief or more fear. Hyunwoo pointed back toward the safe area. The meaning was clear. Go, get out. We'll handle this. Dorna helped the crew members back to safety. Meanwhile, Daeun was already working on the hull breach. She pulled out tools from her belt and started welding metal plates over the hole. The work was fast and efficient. She had done this before many times. Tae-yang went to the power conduits. They were damaged and sparking. He grabbed them with his bare hands, protected only by his suit's gloves. The electricity would have killed most beings instantly. He worked through it, reconnecting wires and rerouting power. Hyunwoo found the structural supports that were failing. These were massive metal beams designed to hold the ship together. One was bent and about to break. If it broke, the entire section would collapse. Hyunwoo grabbed the beam with both hands. He pulled, the metal groaned. Slowly, incredibly, he bent it back into place. Then he held it there while Daeun welded it secure. On the bridge, Velnara watched the monitors in disbelief. How are they doing that? I don't know, Krimesh said. But it's working. Life support is coming back online in Section 4. The humans moved to Section 5. More trapped crew, more damage. They worked with the same speed and strength. Daeun sealed breaches. Tae-yang fixed power systems. Hyunwoo moved debris that should have required machines to lift. In Section 6, they found the worst damage. A massive hole open to space. Parts of the ship were actually missing, torn away by asteroid impacts. This section was lost. No way to fix it. But 4 crew members were still alive inside, clinging to support beams. Their suit air was almost gone. Hyunwoo didn't hesitate. He jumped across the gap, moving through open space. He reached the first crew member, grabbed them, and threw them back toward safety. Dorna caught them. One by one, Hyunwoo rescued all 4 crew members. On the last rescue, his safety line broke. He was floating in space with nothing to hold on to. He pushed the crew member toward safety, and that pushed him the other way. Out into the void. No! Velnara shouted from the bridge, but Daeun was already moving. She used her suit's small thrusters to fly out after him. She caught Hyunwoo and pulled him back. They returned to the ship together. With the trapped crew saved, the humans focused on stopping more damage. Daeun created a magnetic field using parts from both ships. It wasn't strong enough to deflect the asteroids completely, but it changed their path slightly. Instead of direct hits, the asteroids glanced off the hull. 20 minutes after the crisis started, the asteroid field passed. The tranquil horizon was damaged but alive. All crew members were safe. The 3 humans returned to the bridge. They looked tired. Their suits were damaged, but they were okay. Velnara stood and faced them. She didn't need the translation device to say what she felt. She bowed deeply, showing the greatest respect. Thank you, Hyunwoo bowed back. Friends help friends. The crew began emergency repairs. The humans helped where they could. Daeun showed the Confederation engineers her techniques. Taeyang shared calculations that improved their efficiency. Hyunwoo worked alongside Dorna, moving heavy equipment. That evening, Velnara called another meeting. But this time she invited the humans too. You saved my ship, she said through the translation device. You saved my crew. You could have escaped during the crisis. Instead, you stayed and helped. Why would we leave? Hyunwoo asked. You found us. You came to help us. Of course we help you back. My government sees you as a threat, Velnara said honestly. They want to lock you away because they're afraid of your strength. Afraid? Taeyang looked confused. We don't want to hurt anyone. I know, Velnara said. I saw what you did today. You risked your lives for people you just met. That's not something a dangerous species would do. Daeun spoke up. Our world is hard, very hard. We learn to be strong. But we also learn to work together. Alone we die. Together we survive. That's the first lesson every human child learns. The Confederation doesn't understand that, Krimesh said. They think your strength makes you dangerous. They don't see your kindness. Then we teach them, Hyunwoo said simply. It's not that simple, Velnara said. A containment ship is coming. They have orders to take you away. When? Hyunwoo asked. 3 days. The humans looked at each other. They had a silent conversation. The way people who had worked together for years could do. Finally, Hyunwoo spoke. We go with them. We show them we're not dangerous. We be patient. They might never let you go, Dorna warned. Maybe, Hyunwoo said. But violence would only prove them right. We show them through actions, not words. We show them humans can be trusted. Velnara felt a deep respect for this human captain. He understood the situation perfectly. He knew the risks. But he chose the hard path, the right path. I will speak for you, she promised. I'll tell everyone what you did here. You're not a threat. You're heroes. Over the next 3 days, the humans continued to help with repairs. They worked alongside the Confederation crew. Friendships formed. The crew members who had been rescued told everyone about the humans' bravery. Fear slowly changed to respect. Krimesh spent hours talking with Taeyang about science and mathematics. He learned that human physics theories were different from Confederation science. Not wrong, just different. They had discovered truth the Confederation had never considered. Dawn taught the engineers new techniques. Her methods seemed impossible, but they worked. She explained that on Earth, they couldn't afford to waste resources. Every solution had to be efficient. They had learned to do more with less. Dorna trained with Hyunwoo. Even injured, he could match her strength. But more importantly, she learned about human combat philosophy. They didn't fight to destroy. They fought to protect. There was a difference. On the 3rd day, the containment ship arrived. It was big and heavily armed. Military, not scientific. They weren't coming to study the humans. They were coming to imprison them. The ship's captain contacted Velnara. Prepare to transfer the Class 3 specimens to our custody. They have names, Velnara said coldly. And they're not specimens. They're people. That's not for you to decide. Prepare for transfer. The 3 humans gathered their few belongings. They said goodbye to the crew they had worked with. Many crew members had tears in their eyes. These humans had saved their lives and now they were being taken away. As they prepared to leave, Taeyang suddenly stopped. He was looking at his scanner. His face went pale. What's wrong? Krimesh asked. Taeyang pointed at the containment ship. Their reactor. Something's wrong with their reactor. Krimesh checked his own scanner. Taeyang was right. The containment ship's reactor was overheating. The crew probably didn't know yet, but in less than an hour it would explode. Everyone on both ships would die. We have to warn them, Velnara said. They won't listen in time, Taeyang said. Someone needs to fix it manually. From inside the reactor chamber. That's suicide, Dorna said. The radiation in there would kill anyone in seconds. Taeyang smiled sadly. Not anyone. I already have radiation sickness. More radiation won't make much difference. I can survive long enough to fix it. No, Hyunwoo said firmly. We'll find another way. There is no other way, Taeyang said. You know this, Captain. Sometimes one person must risk everything to save everyone else. That's what you taught me. Hyunwoo closed his eyes. When he opened them again, they were full of pain. But he nodded. He understood. Taeyang turned to Velnara. Taeyang woke up 3 days later. His body had survived radiation that should have killed him 10 times over. The containment ship's doctors couldn't believe it. They had never seen anything like his recovery. He was weak but alive. The first thing he asked about was the reactor. When they told him everyone was safe, he smiled and went back to sleep. News of what happened spread fast. The containment ship's crew recorded everything. They sent reports to High Command. They told their families. They shared the story with other ships. Within a week, everyone in the Confederation knew about the humans. 3 survivors from a Deathworld who saved 2 Confederation ships and over 100 crew members. People who should have been enemies but chose to be heroes instead. High Command faced a problem. They had ordered the humans imprisoned. But now those same humans were famous. The public loved them. The crews they saved spoke about them with respect and gratitude. How could the government lock away heroes? A special council meeting was called. Representatives from every major species gathered to decide what to do about Earth and its people. Velnara was invited to speak. So were the humans. The council chamber was huge. Hundreds of beings from dozens of worlds sat in curved rows. They all watched as Velnara walked to the center. Hyunwoo, Daeun, and Taeyang walked with her. This was the first time most council members had seen humans in person. The council leader spoke first. Captain Velnara, you violated direct orders by allowing Class 3 specimens to remain free. You put Confederation citizens at risk. How do you defend your actions? I don't defend them, Velnara said. I'm proud of them. These beings saved my ship and my crew. They risked their lives for people they barely knew. If that makes me guilty of breaking rules, then I accept the punishment. The rules exist to protect us, another council member said. Previous encounters with Class 3 species ended in violence. These humans may seem friendly now, but there are billions more on their planet. What happens when they all come to our space? Perhaps we should ask them, Velnara said. They're standing right here. They understand our language now. Let them speak for themselves, the council murmured. No one had expected the humans to speak. They had assumed these primitive beings couldn't understand complex ideas. Hyunwoo stepped forward. He spoke slowly, choosing his words carefully. Thank you for letting us speak. We know you're afraid of us. We understand why. Our world is dangerous. It made us strong. But it also taught us important lessons. He paused, making sure the translation was working correctly. On Earth, we have a saying. The strongest trees grow in the hardest winds. Our planet was harsh. Many humans died learning to survive. But we learned together. We helped each other. That's how humanity survived. You say there are billions of us. That's true. But we're not all warriors. We're teachers, artists, scientists, farmers, parents. Yes, we can be strong. Yes, we can fight. But we choose not to when there's another way. A council member interrupted. You say that now? But what about when your planet runs out of resources? What about when you need new worlds? Won't you take them by force? Daeun spoke up. We've had those problems before. On our own planet. Different human groups fought over land and resources for thousands of years. Many people died. But we learned, we grew. Now we work together instead of fighting. It took time, but we did it. Our world taught us that violence is easy, but cooperation is better, she continued. When we found this damaged ship, we could have attacked. We were desperate. We needed help. But we chose to be peaceful. We showed you who we are through our actions. Taeyang stepped forward, still looking weak from his injuries. I almost died saving people who came to imprison me. Some of you think that was stupid. Maybe it was. But I couldn't let innocent people die when I could help them. That's not stupid. That's human. We don't want to conquer your worlds, Hyunwoo said. We want to learn from you. We want to share what we know. We want to be friends. But if you lock us away, if you treat us like monsters, then you'll miss something wonderful. A chance to know a species that survived impossible odds and still chose to be kind. The chamber was silent. Then Krimesh stood up. I want to speak. You're not a council member, the leader said. I'm a scientist who spent days with these humans. I think that matters. Krimesh walked to the center. I was terrified of them at first. Their strength, their tolerance for pain, their ability to survive conditions that would kill us. But then I got to know them. Taeyang taught me about human mathematics. They discovered principles we never thought of because we didn't need them. Their science is different from ours, but equally valid. Imagine what we could learn by working together. Dayun showed me engineering solutions that seemed impossible but worked. She solved problems in minutes that would take our engineers days. Not because she's smarter, but because she thinks differently. Her world forced her to be creative. And Hyunwoo, Krimesh turned to look at the human captain. He showed me what real leadership looks like. Not commanding through fear, but inspiring through example. He risked his life for my captain. For my ship. For me. Dorna stood up next. I'm a warrior. I've fought against 2 Class 3 species before. I know how dangerous they can be. But these humans are different. They're strong, yes. Maybe stronger than anyone here. But they use that strength to protect, not to destroy. I trained with Hyunwoo. Even injured, he could have hurt me easily. But he never did. He was always careful, always controlled. That's not the behavior of a mindless brute. That's discipline. That's wisdom. More crew members from both ships stood up to speak. Each one told stories about the humans. How Dayun worked patiently with nervous engineers. How Taeyang made everyone laugh despite the language barrier. How Hyunwoo treated everyone with respect regardless of their species. The containment ship's captain spoke last. I came to arrest these humans. My orders were clear. Lock them away. Study them. Keep them away from our people. But then one of them saved my entire crew. He walked into deadly radiation to fix our reactor. He didn't have to. We were his enemies. But he did it anyway. I can't speak for all humans, he continued. But I can speak for these 3. They're not threats. They're heroes. If we imprison them, we're not protecting ourselves. We're punishing innocents. The council leader looked troubled. This is difficult. We have rules for a reason. But perhaps those rules need to change. We'll take a vote. Should humanity be welcomed into the Confederation? Or should they be kept isolated? The voting took an hour. It was close. Many council members still feared what humans represented, but more members voted to take a chance. The decision is made, the council leader announced. Humanity will be given a chance. These 3 humans will serve as ambassadors. We will make contact with Earth and begin cultural exchange. Full membership in the Confederation will be decided after a trial period. The chamber erupted in mixed reactions. Some cheered. Others looked worried. But the decision was final. Belnara felt relief wash over her. She had taken a huge risk by trusting the humans. But it had worked. Her crew was safe. The humans were free. And maybe, just maybe, the Confederation had learned something important. After the meeting, the 3 humans stood together looking at a star map. Krimesh pointed to a small yellow star. That's your sun. That's Earth. Home, Taeyang whispered. When can we go back? Dayun asked. Soon, Velnara said. A delegation ship is being prepared. We'll take you home, and we'll meet the rest of your people. Are you nervous? Hyunwoo asked her. Terrified, she admitted. Meeting 3 humans was hard enough. Meeting 8 billion seems impossible. Hyunwoo smiled. Don't worry. Most humans are much nicer than us. We're actually pretty tough by our standards. You'll like the others. That's what worries me, Velnara said. But she was smiling too. Over the next few weeks, preparations began. The 3 humans stayed on a Confederation station, learning more about the galaxy. They studied other species, other cultures, other ways of thinking, and they taught others about humanity. Dayun worked with engineers, sharing human technology. Their fusion reactors were simpler but more efficient than Confederation designs. Their medical knowledge about treating injuries was far more advanced. After all, humans got hurt a lot and needed to heal fast. Taeyang worked with scientists. He showed them human art, music, and literature. He explained how a harsh world had created rich culture. When life is hard, beauty becomes more important. When death is close, every moment matters more. Hyunwoo worked with diplomats. He helped them understand human politics, human history, human nature. He warned them that Earth wasn't unified. Different nations had different goals. Some would embrace aliens with joy. Others would be suspicious. The Confederation needed to be patient. How did you achieve spaceflight with so many divided groups? A diplomat asked. Competition, Hyunwoo explained. Different nations raced each other to reach space first. It drove innovation. But then we realized space was big enough for everyone. We started cooperating. The space station orbiting Earth has crew from 20 different nations. They work together perfectly. So division led to unity? Eventually. It took time. Many mistakes, but yes. We learned that our differences make us stronger when we work together instead of fighting. The Confederation began to understand. The diplomatic ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. Belnara stood on the bridge looking at the yellow star ahead. Somewhere near that star was the planet that had created the humans. Run a scan, she ordered. Krimesh worked at his station. I'm detecting numerous artificial satellites, radio transmissions, evidence of spaceflight capability. And there, he pointed at the screen. That's Earth. The planet appeared on the screen. It was beautiful. Blue oceans covered most of the surface, green and brown continents. White clouds swirled in complex patterns, ice caps at both poles. It looked peaceful from this distance. Show me the detailed analysis, Velnara said. The numbers appeared. Gravity 1.8 standard units. Atmospheric oxygen 21%. Average temperature variations 50 degrees between seasons. Active weather systems constant. Geological activity high. Classification Class 3 Deathworld. How do they live there? Someone whispered. Hyunwoo heard the comment. He smiled. We don't think of it as living. We think of it as home. To us, this is normal. Your safe worlds would feel strange to us. We're being scanned, Krimesh reported. Multiple sources. Military and civilian. They've detected us. Expected, Velnara said. Open a communication channel. Let's introduce ourselves. Hyunwoo stepped forward. Let me speak first. In our language. They'll be less afraid if they hear a human voice. Velnara nodded. Go ahead. Hyunwoo spoke into the communicator in his own language. The bridge crew couldn't understand the words, but they heard the tone. Calm, friendly, reassuring. He was telling his people that aliens had arrived, but there was no danger. For a long moment, there was silence. Then responses came flooding in. Multiple nations all trying to communicate at once. Questions, demands, offers of welcome, warnings to stay away. Earth was speaking, and it had many voices. Hyunwoo organized the chaos. He identified the main space agencies and arranged a conference call with all of them. Within an hour, they had established basic communication protocols. They want us to approach the space station, Hyunwoo translated. It's in orbit around Earth. Representatives from many nations are gathering there to meet us. Is it safe? Dorna asked. Yes, Hyunwoo said. Humans are curious, not hostile. They'll want to see you as much as you want to see them. The diplomatic ship moved toward Earth. As they got closer, they saw more evidence of human civilization. Satellites, space debris, small spacecraft moving between Earth and its moon. Humans were actively exploring their local space. The space station came into view. It was much smaller than Confederation stations built from simple materials. But it was functional and showed clever engineering. Humans had built this with limited resources and made it work. They docked carefully. The station's crew were waiting. Velnara could see them through the airlock window. So many humans. They looked excited and nervous at the same time. Ready? She asked her team. Ready, they said together. The airlock opened. Hyunwoo stepped through first, followed by Da-eun and Taeyang. The humans on the station erupted in cheers. People pressed forward, asking questions, reaching out to touch their returned heroes. Then Velnara stepped through. The cheering stopped. Everyone stared. This was their first time seeing an alien in person. She was taller than most humans, but thinner. Her skin was pale blue. Her eyes were larger. She looked fragile to human eyes. A woman stepped forward. She looked older, her hair gray. She wore a uniform with many badges. She must be important. She held out her hand in the human gesture of greeting. Welcome to Earth's orbit. the woman said slowly. I am Commander Jiwoo Park. I lead this station. We are honored to meet you. Velnara took the offered hand carefully. Human handshakes were firm. She had practiced with Hyunwoo, but this was different. This was real first contact with a whole civilization. Thank you, Velnara said. I am Captain Velnara of the Galactic Confederation. We come in peace and friendship. More Confederation crew members entered, Krimesh, Dorna, and others, each one different from the last. The humans stared in wonder. So many species all traveling together peacefully. It was everything they had dreamed about when they looked at the stars. Over the next few hours, they began formal introductions. The humans showed them around the station. It was cramped compared to Confederation facilities, but the humans seemed comfortable. Of course they did. They were used to much harsher conditions. A meeting was arranged in the station's main conference room. Representatives from different Earth nations attended through video links. Hundreds of faces appeared on screens, all watching intently. Velnara explained the Confederation. How many species worked together, how they traded, shared knowledge, and kept peace across many worlds. She explained that Earth was being invited to join this community. Questions came fast. What about Earth's governments? Would they have to change? What about their militaries? Their religions? Their cultures? Could they keep being human, or would they have to become something else? You stay human, Velnara said firmly. The Confederation doesn't erase cultures. It celebrates them. Every species brings something unique. Humans will bring their strength, their creativity, their determination, but you'll also bring your art, your music, your ways of thinking. All of it matters. What can you offer us? A human leader asked. Knowledge, Krimesh said. Medical technology. Agricultural methods. Clean energy. Access to resources on other worlds. Most importantly, you won't be alone anymore. There are thousands of species out there. You'll have friends across the galaxy. And what do you want from us? Another asked suspiciously. To learn from you, Velnara said. Your world created challenges we never faced. You developed solutions we never needed. Your perspective is valuable. And honestly, we need what you have. Your resilience. Your ability to overcome impossible odds. The Confederation has grown comfortable. Maybe too comfortable. Humans can remind us what it means to truly survive. The discussions continued for days. Some humans were excited. Others were cautious. A few were scared. But slowly, consensus formed. Earth would join the Confederation, but carefully. Cultural exchange programs would start small. A permanent embassy would be established on the station. Trade would begin with basic goods. Trust would be built gradually. On the third day, Velnara stood at an observation window with Commander Park. They looked down at Earth together. It's beautiful, Velnara said. It's home, Park replied. Dangerous, unpredictable, but home. Are you really not afraid of us? I was, Velnara admitted. When I first found Hyunwoo and his crew, I was terrified. They were so strong, so tough. But then I saw their kindness, their courage, their willingness to help others even when it cost them everything. Now I'm not afraid. Now I'm grateful. Why grateful? Because you remind us of something we forgot. That survival isn't just about being safe. It's about being willing to take risks for what's right. Your 3 crew members did that. They risked everything for strangers. That's not weakness. That's the strongest thing I've ever seen. Park smiled. They told us what happened. How they saved your ships. We're proud of them, but also not surprised. That's just what you do when someone needs help. It doesn't matter who they are or where they come from. I wish all species thought that way, Velnara said. Maybe they will, Park said, after they meet us. After they see that being strong doesn't mean being cruel. After they learn what Earth taught humanity. What did Earth teach you? Park looked at her planet. That life is precious because it's hard. That kindness matters more when the world is cruel. That we're stronger together than apart. And that no matter how bad things get, there's always hope for something better. Velnara felt tears in her eyes. Her species didn't cry often, but this moment deserved it. The galaxy needs to hear that lesson. Then we'll teach them, Park said. Together. A month later, the first human embassy opened on a Confederation station. Hyunwoo was appointed as Earth's chief ambassador. Daein headed a team of engineers working on joint technology projects. Taeyang became a cultural liaison, teaching aliens about human art and philosophy. More humans volunteered to join Confederation ships. They worked as crew members, learning about space and teaching others about Earth. Everywhere they went, they impressed people with their abilities and surprised them with their kindness. Velnara received a new assignment. She would command a joint exploration ship with both Confederation and human crew. Their mission was to explore unknown space and make first contact with new species. If they found more Deathworlds, they would approach them with curiosity instead of fear. On the day they launched, Velnara stood on her bridge surrounded by her mixed crew. Krimesh was at science, Dorna headed security, and Hyunwoo's younger sister, Minji, served as the human liaison officer. She was smaller than her brother but had the same determined eyes. Ready for departure, Krimesh reported. Course plotted, Minji added. Unknown space awaits, Velnara smiled. A year ago, she had been terrified of humans. Now she couldn't imagine exploring without them. They had changed the Confederation in ways no one expected. They proved that strength and kindness could exist together. They showed that the hardest worlds could produce the best people. Take us out, she ordered. The ship jumped to faster-than-light speed. Behind them, Earth continued spinning through.